Hey, Gator Nation. Welcome back to the Respect Our Decision podcast. It's November 30th, and we got a huge seasonal wrap-up episode coming out for y'all today. As always, I'm your boy Hirsch, and with me is Mike.
What's going on?
And the hype man, Wes.
What's good?
And Gator Nation, we just want to thank y'all all out there for all of you that download each and every episode. And if you're not downloading each and every episode, we'd appreciate it if y'all would do that. It helps us a tremendous amount. And as always, guys, if you haven't, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel, hit the like button on the episode, and leave us a comment, man. We're reading every comment, and we enjoy reading some of the stuff y'all shout out to us out there. And as always, guys, if you'd like to support us as creators, check out our Patreon at Respect Our Decision. Want to give a big shout out to our Patreon subscribers out there. We appreciate y'all. And as always, guys, each and every dollar we make out of this goes right back into the show. And big shout out, as always, to our sponsor, Camwood Supplements. Big shout out to camwoodsupplements.com for all of your workout supplements, your recovery supplements, and your greens for digestive health. So with that being said, guys, we're going to get right into it. We're going to, before we get started, guys, we want to kind of go ahead and address the elephant in the room as news that broke today about Jalen Kitna. At this time, guys, of course, that's a legal matter, kind of out of our hands. We know about as much as any of y'all have seen out there, and we're just going to have to let this play out and discuss it at another time. Of course, the university released a statement on that earlier, so that'll be all we really say on that matter for now. So guys, as you might have noticed, we didn't drop a raw reaction for Florida State this weekend. We're gonna lead off with that, guys, because it kind of will lead into our wrap up of the season here in a little bit, kind of be fresh in the mind as we talk about how the season ended and how it wrapped up. But before we get to the I'm sorry, not that. We're gonna go ahead and do that first, and then we'll get to our recruiting stuff as always. Guys, tough loss, Tallahassee. A lot of good, a lot of ugly. Mike, what were your initial reactions?
First being, I'm glad I didn't make the trip because that was a last minute decision not to go. It was that would have been
last Mike in the Mike might have died in the trenches.
Nah, I've been there before. Tallahassee and Michael get along. We'll leave it at that. But it's not here nor there. Anyways, it's just really frustrating because I should have won the game, more talented. I don't mind losing games, but when you're clearly a more talented, physically dominating team, it's highly frustrating. And I put the blame on two people. Billy Napier, one. It's going to be 1A, 1B, actually, Billy Napier, because we had the clearly more talented team, and we had the clear game plan to win the game, came out in the third quarter, and chose to, I don't know why, I don't know, pad AR stats for the league, I have no idea, but I chose to pass the ball instead of running the ball 6 to 7 yards a clip, which two running backs, so pick your poison, because each team was hitting stride. So I put number 2 on AR, because he, first half, looked pretty good, great, I mean, not the best, but definitely looked like a good quarterback. Second half, it was Kentucky-esque. Obviously didn't complete a pass, and it became comical. There was a drop there, Caleb Douglas, but then at the very end, he overthrows a 6-7 Odom by it may have been 15 yards. It's just things like that. I mean, there's some missed penalties and everything, but end of the day, put up 38 points, and just it was just highly frustrating. Defense, missed tackles, obviously, a lot of missed tackles. Jordan Travis, Tony had a game plan to win the game, but we just didn't get it done. The players didn't get it done. I think coaching on defensively was good. I held Jordan Travis, who's a very good quarterback, in check. But once again, didn't execute. Got to execute. Get it done. Just get it done. And it's about sums it up.
Wes, get some stuff off your chest, man.
Yeah, some of the stuff Mike says I agree with, some I don't. I wouldn't put AR second. I put Billy Napier first, like he did with coming out in the third quarter. We saw how we got back in the game in the fourth quarter. We ran the ball and we got back in the game. You know, it was that simple. Just keep running the ball. When you got 5 receivers out, I believe it was 5, and they're your top receivers. I don't understand what the point of trying to pass the ball to guys that are not proven. I mean, Reynolds had a game before that where he had his career high, and then Douglas had been showing some things, but all we really had as a proven guy was Ricky. I remember early in the year when Mike said if the defense holds the team under 30, we should win. If we score 38 points at the University of Florida, we should win, especially when we got 4 receivers out. So AR had a bad game. I'm not going to sit here and take up for him, but I don't want to put him second when we know where he was all year. Mike has harped on AR is who AR is. So why the expectation for to do things that he's incapable of doing? I mean, I was wrong about some of the things that Mike alluded to, and Mike was right. So if that's your expectation and you know who that guy is, you can't have him that high up because he is who he is. I mean, we have a whole body of work through the season to realize he's inconsistent passing the ball. You have new receivers in, so I don't fault him at all. I fault the head coach, which you alluded to, which is number one, and then number two, our defense and the freaking tackle that you put, I guess, behind the yard. That was first. We scored 38 points at the University of Florida. You should win when you score 38 points. I don't care who you're playing. You can be playing Bama, you can be playing Georgia, you can be playing Ohio State. You should win when you score 38 points. So I would probably put AR maybe third on that list, but the defense performance was atrocious. You made another quarterback look like he was the best quarterback in the country. And Travis isn't bad. He's very athletic. I alluded to that when we had our podcast last week. But like I said, AR is who he is. So the expectation of being something else shouldn't have been expected from no one.
Y'all hit on all points. I'm not gonna draw this out. It was the blueprint of the whole season. Inconsistent play on both sides of the ball. Inconsistent play calling. The third quarter has been a mystery to me all season. I just, aside from A&M, I don't know what the hell we do and what we do coming out of the half. That's a concern for me going forward. We'll discuss that in a little bit. Kids played hard, man. I mean, we were missing every receiver on the roster. Big shout out to Ricky. Ricky Pearsall is as advertised. The kid is, I mean, he played hurt. Didn't even think he was going to be able to play in the game. Kid came out and had, over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. There's growth. I mean, the team fought all year. We'll get, like I said, we'll get to that more later. I love the fight of these kids. But we left a lot of points on the board and a lot of opportunities on the board. Could have easily walked away with what I think would have been a bigger win than the Utah win on the season. And it is what it is, man. You move on. Mike, you got a quick follow-up you wanted to ask?
Yeah. Believe it or not, I can definitely disagree, but I can definitely understand where Wes is coming from in terms of, defense being 2. But in terms of, AR, being incapable, he is capable. That's the thing. Is he inconsistent? Yes, but he's capable. Look at Tennessee. He's had plenty of games in like the first half. That game, he showed he was in that exact game. He showed he was capable in the first half against FSU. Same teams, everything. So I don't know what he did at halftime. He's like, I don't know if he called his agent. I have no idea. But in the second half, he decided, you know what? I want to play like dog shit. That's all that happened. So I disagree with running, but end of the day, he had a competent quarterback, and AR chose to retreat, go back into his little hole of I'm scared to play football. So that's it. But I do agree with you on the defense being awful.
All right, guys. We're going to keep this short and sweet. We got a lot to talk about, like we said. We're going to go over the pick 6 real quick. and we think, I think everyone knows where this will go. 3 things the Gators needed to do to beat FSU. Wes, yours was go back to what worked when we ran the ball. Well, damn. It worked the first half.
3 out of 4 quarters.
It worked in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter, too. Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, if it worked in the first half, it would have worked in the second half.
You gotta keep them guessing. Keep them on the tip.
Rush yards were sick. Etienne was who throughout the year. I wanted more touches from you guys. I complained to you guys about it, about him getting more carries, and he did his thing. We just in the third quarter we decided we want to hit some receivers that we didn't know who name they were, and they took away Ricky. And once they took away Ricky, I think AR was like 0 for like 12 or something at one point. Man, it was crazy.
Did they really take away Ricky? We don't know.
They couldn't guard Odom.
All right, but we're not going to elongate on that.
Quick, the running back, they actually had the same amount of carries at 17.
Well, I was getting to yours next, Mike. Yours was run the ball 50 times, but AR actually give a damn. That was your exact words.
I don't. What? Hey, wishful thinking.
Mine was play all out. Treat this like it's championship for the season. The heart was there. Definitely. You saw kids running at full blast, but you also saw kids making a lot of first game mistakes. I don't know if maybe that's a product of trying too hard at times. Like even Ventrell, when Ventrell came in the second half, had bad angles on several plays. Like, I don't know if maybe they were just didn't understand how fast some of these Florida State guys were or what, but it's just very wild for how bad our angles were. But they played with those 5-star hearts. But, going forward, we got to play with some 5-star damn effort. 3 things the Gators needed to avoid versus Florida State. Mike, make it blatantly obvious Miller is out. Well, I don't know. I don't know how to really sum that up. The first half when Ventrell was out, the defense didn't play any better or worse than when he was in.
There was one. Yeah, there was one time though. Gosh, I hope I never see Derek Wingo on my football field ever.
Derek
again.
Wingo has the speed.
I had
of Desmond Watson.
He was just running like slow motion. Like, it was like in that giant in Happy Gilmore, just trucking along. It was. I can see it right now. It's imprinted in my brain.
Oh my God!
He was an edge rusher in high school. He's not a linebacker here. Portal him, get him out. And McMillan, get him out.
Wes, your thing we needed to avoid was allow Travis to make big plays using his legs. Make him a pocket passer.
Well,
I can call.
Holy
I can call it
God!
Because he was awful. He was just as awful at one point in the game before he had that long throw. He was just as awful as AR throwing the ball. I know we had a couple pass interference calls, but when he used his legs, he looked like Mike Vick mixed with Lamar Jackson.
I was gonna say we made that man look like prime Michael Vick.
Exactly.
There were a couple of those runs. I was like, well, there's no way you can at least get downfield. At least we've got him where people will converge on him and we'll get him down.
One would think.
The next thing you know, he's down the sideline and in the end zone.
If you looked at the numbers when they were putting it up during the game, him and AR was struggling throwing the ball. They both were. So my suggestion of making them throw the ball from the pocket was accurate. Just don't let them be Michael Vick, and they let him be Michael Vick.
He didn't do terribly in pass coverage. I won't disagree with that. Now, there was some plays to be had, but that's been all season. So I've seen the growth in the.
I like the game plan.
The game plan was phenomenal, but you have to execute. And that, I mean, if you tackle him on 2 or 3 of those plays, it changes the whole game.
One time they got a touchdown, it would have put him outside of in the net.
And the next time he was down on 1. I mean, on 2 of those runs, 1 was a touchdown and 1 he slid down at the 1. I mean, mine was just with Wes. Don't allow Travis to dominate the game. I mean, Travis single-handedly won that game. I don't care. Hey, the kid, I give the kid credit. The kid has tremendously upped his game in the last 2 years over what we saw him when he was first coming into games versus us. But, and that's a huge but, we could have easily have kept him from doing a lot of the stuff he did just by making tackles.
He should have had about 250 yards of total offense.
Yep. All right. Impact players. Wes, Princely.
I called Princely out because he called himself out for missing tackles against Vanderbilt. Disappointed me. Did the same thing again. Repeated effort. Wrapping the guy up. I don't know if they understand what wrap up means. I wanted 11 hats to the ball. Didn't see it. It's pitiful.
Mike said Caleb Douglas. Caleb Douglas had that drop. Did he drop that ball in the 4th right in that last drive? Now, I will give Caleb Douglas, I'm not giving him a pass, but that ball should not have gone to him. But it did, and it hit him in the hands.
Great throw, too.
It was a good throw, and I'm not trying to nitpick AR on this, but if you go back and look at that play, from the jump, the flat route was uncovered, and he never looked. But that's, it's here nor there. He hit the man in the hands. You got to make the catch.
And then he overthrew a 6'7" guy by 15
That
feet.
doesn't have nothing to do with your impact player of the game. My impact player of the game was Desmond Watson, and Desmond Watson played a hell of a football game.
You did.
Had a pass deflected. Once again, I've said it for about 3 weeks in a row. If we see Desmond Watson put in the work in this offseason, come in 20 to 25 pounds lighter, Desmond Watson is going to be a force to be reckoned with next year if he has that kind of effort. So, love the kid. Love how he's come on this season. Love him to keep proving the naysayers wrong. Guys, before we move into the regular meat of this episode, any general thoughts of this game? Not the season, but just this game.
I'm pissed. It's just bottom line, AR side. He can't. The third, it's seriously, just run the ball. Billy Napier knows copious amounts more of football than me. I know this. How do you not just run the ball? I don't get it. And this is the second game in a row. Just run the ball. You're physically dominating them, and you're going to get better at running the ball throughout the game because you're going to lean on them. You bigger your guys. You're on the road. What happens when you're on the road? Today, a loud crowd. You got to quiet the crowd.
And there's something else you do with that. Obviously, you chew the clock, but you allow your defense to rest, and your defense was getting gassed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just, it's just so many, it makes zero sense. It's 2 + 2 is 9. I have no idea. And
I've thought about it. I know we all have. We've talked about it. You make the mentality, was he trying to get him out of the box? Well, it didn't matter. They knew we were going to run in the first half, and we ran it. I understand that the few plays to Ricky took the top off a little bit and softened it up. But they knew we couldn't pass in the 4th quarter, and we still ran it on them.
And then it's like you get 2 – say the first drive, you want to pass the ball. Okay, you know what? Nobody's perfect.
Different look.
What about the second? What about the third?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's like you just got –
This is amateur hour?
Go ahead.
I was just saying I would rather if you look at the inconsistencies of AR and we go back to that play, the second touchdown to Ricky was AR being elite quarterback. He went to the line, he checked out over because he saw something, and he hit Ricky on that seam route, and he looked off the safety. I would rather we be called run plays and AR sees certain people in the box and sees he has Ricky one-on-one, then straight call pass. Because we've all alluded to the AR has a lot of control at the line of scrimmage. I don't like the straight passes. I like the straight runs. And if AR says, "Oh, I got Ricky one-on-one with this guy," like he saw in that second touch, that was just elite stuff. And I would rather have that in the third quarter than us just drop back passing. That to me, that was I don't know what the purpose of doing that when we were just keep gashing them on the ground.
I equate it to the movie Tin Cup.
Great movie.
It was like Billy, something went wrong, and you just kept trying to break out of it. It was like you something went, it went wrong, and you're like, no, I'm going to try it again until we get it right. I'm going to try it again until we get it right. I'm going to try it again until we get it right. And you can't do that. I mean, you've got, and look, I understand Billy's got a little bit of a learning curve here too, but it's the 12th game of the season. Billy's going to have to show something just as much as anybody next year, because this was a very questionable way to go out in the season. But we'll get to more of that about coaching later on when we wrap up the season. All right, guys. As we do always, Friday night under the lights. Wes is going to give us a little bit of information there. But just as a bit of information, as y'all know, a lot of our kids are done for the season as the playoffs are going on now in the state of Florida, and a lot of our kids this season have already come to a close. So there's just a few still out there. So just a few pieces of information to cover. Wes, hit us up.
Yeah, I'm going to hit us up with three guys this week. Appreciate it, Hurst. First, one of our Corey Raymonds and one of our prize picks that we were high on, and we can see that through the rankings. If you guys check his rankings out, how he started and where he's at now. Good eye by Corey Raymond and Jakeem Jackson. He had a fumble recovery and a 64-yard pick six to help his team win. And they will move on to take on Lakeland this week in the semifinals. Truyan Webb,
which is Cormani, by the way.
Who?
Cormani. Yeah, I know. We don't know who that is anymore.
Yeah. Truyan Webb, again, just had a phenomenal senior year for high school. Shout out to that kid. He's been one of the leaders in the class. I suggest you guys go and look at his film as well. We're getting a great back and a great person as well as one of the leaders in the class. He had 2 more TDs this weekend. Unfortunately for him, that was his last high school game as his team lost. And Kelby Collins from Alabama, one of our highly rated recruits, defensive end. He was named to the 22 sideline defensive player of the year in Alabama. So shout out to Collins. That was a good get by Coach Chaos. So those are the 3 guys that I'm highlighting this week.
Yes, sir. Like we said, guys, most of these kids' high school careers are coming to an end here. Probably won't be very much more information about Under the Lights going forward for this season, but it's been fun, man. It's been fun watching these kids play out their season and getting ready to come to the next level. Giving us an idea of what to expect. I've personally loved following along. It's been nice doing this show to, it's giving me a new perspective on following these kids. So guys, we got a little bit of recruiting news, but to be very honest right now, the recruiting news is kind of slow this week. As we know, season's ending. A lot of portal stuff going on right now. A lot of staff's more focused on who's leaving and who's coming back right now. As we get into December, recruiting news will pick up.
What's that date for the portal, Hirsch?
December 5th. December 5th is our date for the portal. But guys, just a few recruit notes. One being Eugene Wilson. There was some back and forth earlier this week about if Eugene Wilson would be an early signee. And after much back and forth, it got decided. Eugene said he would, in fact, be an early signee in December and would be enrolling in May. And that was per his father, ultimately, that said that. I know at one point, one of his coaches has said he didn't think he was going to be an early signee. And a lot of people got worried, as would be understandable, but looks like we're good to go there, as Eugene Wilson should absolutely be a contributor to this team next fall. Receiver Tyree Patterson is set to take his official visit to UF the weekend of the 9th. And key to that is he's set to visit UCF the following weekend. I know a lot of people have, ever since Tyree committed, have kind of been of the thought process, well, if he drops out of the class, I won't be too upset about it. I got a feeling that this visit he takes to Florida on the 9th will go one or two ways. It'll either be you're solid for us and you stay in this class, or if you take that visit to UCF, we reserve the right to replace you in this class. Because that's how big boys play ball. I mean, Mike said that before. You shop, we shop. And that's just how that goes. I have no problem with Billy telling a kid that, hey, if you want to go look around, that's fine, but don't necessarily count your spot reserved. Also visiting that weekend of this week is Jakeem Jackson. There's a lot of talk out there right now this week about Jakeem Jackson and Miami being still interested in Jakeem. And that's true. And they're trying to poach him. And Cormani may or may not be helping with that effort, trying to get him to come on down to Miami. But Jakeem Jackson said, he's pretty locked in with Florida. Going to be a situation to watch, but I wouldn't be surprised if he made that visit on the 9th and he comes out after that weekend and says his recruitment is shut down once he spends a few days with Corey Raymond and them. And guys, last but not least, want to talk about obviously the next big recruiting story for the Gators, DJ Lagway, who's committing on December 7th. By now, everybody knows who DJ Lagway is, very familiar with that young man and being the 2024 five-star quarterback. DJ this last weekend took a visit to USC to watch USC beat Notre Dame. By all accounts, enjoyed his visit. I mean, who wouldn't? Trip to LA. Family took a free trip out to LA. But yeah, I mean, is there a concern when Lincoln Riley's recruiting a quarterback? Because I can't talk anymore. Yeah, there's always going to be a concern. The man puts out quarterbacks. He's good at it. Here's the thing about it, though, is DJ locked in this decision and pretty much had his mindset and said as much that his mind was made up before he made this trip. Take from that what you will. And I know everybody will be concerned until the kid commits, and then we'll worry about him for another calendar year till he signs his, till his letter of intent. But
and real quick, Hirsch.
Yes.
The only time you need to worry is if he visits anywhere.
After he commits, yes.
If he visit if he's committed to us, if he visits,
if he takes a visit, then you're in. Yeah. If he pulls a Rashada,
I wouldn't worry. Like I know he's gone. I'm moving on to a different quarterback.
I will say this: anyone and everyone that's been in contact with the Rashada family says they're very high standing, very, very wonderful people. Like I said, I understand the concerns, and they're always valid until a kid commits. But most people in touch with this situation feel really good about where the Gators stand. So not much longer, another week, and we'll have that one done. I don't have the exact time, but I do know that he's committing on ESPN. So when we have that information, we'll share it on the show next week, and we'll tweet it out. Wes will put it on our Facebook group so that anybody that wants to watch DJ's commitment will be able to do so. We added a new little section here going forward, portal updates, because obviously the transfer portal is hopping, and it ain't even really got started yet. A lot of names hitting the portal this week. We're not going to go through them all. right now. Kind of going to let the dust settle before we start going through it. Avery Helm, of course, hit the portal earlier in the week. He was the first Gator since the season ended to put his name out there. There's going to be a lot more names to come this week, guys. Billy and his staff conducted exit interviews through the first of the week here with each and every player to see what their intent was. And you see where things, how both parties felt about the player's future. And then I believe here, starting probably as early as tomorrow, you'll see more notes start to drop and go through the weekend as we move towards that December 5th date. Guys, you got any just early thoughts on the portal here?
Yeah, I think losing Helm does hurt. He's a depth piece. I don't think it's significant loss. But he started some games for us, so he's not awful. Besides, he did have some slips. He wasn't the perfect player, arguably the most athletic player on defense, and he's definitely worthy of a Power 5 starter spot somewhere. Maybe a smaller school, but I still think he can be a Power 5 starter. And you never want to lose depth, experience depth.
No, not right now, because we're gonna be a young team next year. I think
100%.
people need to actually go ahead and accept that. I'm not saying we can't be a successful team next year. I'm saying we will be a young team next year. It's all in how. What's that?
No, and another thing. So a lot of people got more starting it at the opposite Marshall. Okay, he was injured, so he's possibly injury prone. Jaden Hill, he is injury prone. So, like I said, you never want to lose starting depth.
Wes, you got anything to add?
Yeah, just echoing what you guys said, especially with the DB depth. Abraham he's a solid piece, and I'm just waiting to see what December 5th, who else is leaving and who we're going after. So I'm kind of anxious. This is like free agency for NFL, so I'm excited.
Yeah, guys. So next week, I'm sure we're going to have a lot more portal talk as more and more names hit, and we'll probably have a lot more to talk about on the portal next week and start possibly speculating on who the Gators may make some moves on. Probably do some work this week to kind of get a list of names together that we've heard about and or we'd like to see us go after just to fill positions of need. And what positions we think we probably need to target. Obviously, wouldn't mind seeing some linebackers, some safeties, maybe get, Mike some kind of nose tackle in the portal if one's flying around out there.
Wishful thinking.
But guys, with that being said, what we're going to do now is we're going to give out our grades for the season, man. It's report card time. And this season might not pass. I'm not gonna lie. But before we do, guys, I want to once again remind you that we are partnering with Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy play where you can enter, and basically your entries go against a spread. You are not playing against other players, you're playing against the spread. So for instance, this weekend's games in college, if the line was, say, Brock Bowers was going to have 80 yards receiving and you would choose more or less, and you parlay that up around between 4 and 6 picks, and you can just, get your winnings up there. So if you want to make an account with Prize Picks and use our code RESPECT100, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. So if you put in $50, they're going to give you $50 to play with. Put in 75, they'll give you 75. And and obviously if you put in 100, they'll match you up to that $100, and you can try to go out there and make some money, man. So hit that up. It's a great deal. I use them myself. I'm not very good at it because, I don't bet very well. But with that being said, guys, it's report card season, and we're going to start off on the offensive side of the ball. And we're not even going to mix words. We're going to jump right into it and talk about the quarterback position. Mike, I'm gonna let you go first because I know where this is going. What's your grade for the quarterback position for the 2022 season?
Overall, or just to set player?
I mean, set player is the only one that's really played.
No, like we're talking to what he could do, or just you want what do I
No, I want
see?
his grade on what he did on his body of work this year.
I'll just the position as a whole. I'll go C minus.
C minus. All right, Wes. I know you got Wes grades on a curve, so
How many pluses can he add to an A?
I'm going with a C as well. Mike shot me with a C
Oh.
minus. I thought Mike was going to say D or whatever. But if you look at the numbers and how he progressed during the season, he got better. And this is his first. People think AR was like a 5-star recruit coming out of high school and this well polished guy. And then he was in the new system. We all agree he has some things mentally as far as looking towards the NFL, whether it's injuries, whatever it was that he was dealing with. So this has actually been his first year starting. We know what Mullen did to him last year. I would give him a C on the year.
yeah, I'm right there in that same grade as you guys. I mean, he had moments where he looked absolutely amazing. Had moments where he looked absolutely lost and like he would never recover. But as that counter goes up, you can't keep using it. My thing is, like, at the beginning of the season, well, it's only his second start. Well, then it's only his fifth start. Then it's only his seventh start. Well, at some point it clicks or it doesn't. Is my personal thing. There was a lot left to be desired, and I'm not going to get into the heated debates. Everybody's got their opinion. You're the quarterback at the University of Florida. There's no position, maybe in college football, more scrutinized by its fan base. You're held to a different standard. It is what it is. Wish the man best of luck because I'm 99.99999% that he's gone.
And real quick, Hurst, to piggyback off what you said, what they say when it's toward the postseason in college football, you're no longer come week 7, week 8, you're no longer a freshman for those true freshmen out there. So you can't play that card. It's like no, you're experienced. So the same thing applies to a quarterback or any player. Better yet, it's like don't say he's inexperienced. No, this is toward the latter part of the season. Or say the FSU game, there's no excuses for the second half of that game.
Here's my last thing I'll say about AR, and this will probably be the last time we talk about AR on this show, honestly, because he's going to be gone. People say, well, I'd like to see AR come back and refine and get better. I'm not sure he would.
Can he?
I'm not, and that's my question is, I'm not sure if he would get better, at least here in this system and all those. I mean, AR needs to move on for the sake of his mentals, I believe. He needs to get out of his home county, get these pressures off his shoulder, see the world, do whatever. I mean, just get a new perspective on life. I think being in Gainesville, where he played high school and all that, it's not. I don't think it's a good combination.
Agreed.
All right, guys, let's move on to a happier position where I think we all agree. The running back position. Wes, what's your grade on the running backs?
This is why I get the pluses out for A's, Mike. A plus. Wish Trevor Etienne had a little bit more carries. And for those who think he's the best freshman back in the SEC, there's a guy over there at Ole Miss you might want to look up. So I will give him the second freshman running back in the SEC. So shout out to both of those guys. And I'm glad that we have both of them come back next year. So shout out to those two guys.
Wes, what's the running back grade?
You might.
Did I say Wes?
You did. Different shade of brown, baby.
Easy. I don't. Don't put that on me.
I didn't say it. Man. No negative context, son. There was different
Yeah,
shades.
he said we all look alike, Mike. That's what
I'm saying.
Don't y'all put that
whoa,
on me.
Whoa, Ricky Bobby. All right. I'd give Etienne A-. Johnson.
This is the positional group. This man's going too deep.
No, B+ for Etienne, for both of them.
All right. Mike can't follow instructions.
Oh, positional group. My apologies. You did say that. Oh, then I would say B+ because they can't catch a ball.
Can they not catch, or can we not throw to them? I'm not even going to go there.
I mean, no. The pass protection was an issue for Etienne out of the gate. That's a fact.
I will say that. And I'm going to go in between you and Wes, but there's a different reason. I don't know why the face,
because he couldn't.
There's a different reason that I'm going to go in between. I'm going to say A-, but here's why I'm going to say A-. Wes sat there and said, "Oh, I'd like to see Etienne get more carries." Well, there's a reason why he didn't get more carries, and that's where my minus comes in. That's Naquan Wright started the season. And I don't care what your reason is. Naquan Wright didn't. Look, good kid. Don't have nothing against Naquan Wright. Didn't fit the system. And drug the unit as a whole down in the first quarter of the season. And that's my reason.
In Montreal,
he started over both of them.
I know.
No.
Naquan did.
Naquan started over both of them.
The first 3 games, Naquan was the starter.
Naquan was the first man back on the field.
I'll check back. I've erased a lot of those games out of my memory.
Yeah, we don't need to check back.
But real quick though. But the main thing is they're not pass catchers. So I mean, I don't see how you have an A+ for a incomplete back.
I think that remains to be seen when we actually throw to the running backs.
I haven't seen. I don't know how many catches Trevor had. It's not a lot. It's not. I don't think it's 10, but I didn't see him drop one. Every one he was thrown to him, he caught.
I'm a little worried when your quarterback can't throw the ball down the line anyway, so I'm not going to go there. Good Lord. All right. Moving down the line, and I grouped these together, even though because wide receivers and tight ends, I put them together because the tight ends had so little production, there wasn't no sense talking about them individually. Mike, what is your rankings, your grade of the wide receiver tight end room for the 2022 season?
Oh, collectively?
That's how this works.
I'm going to C+.
Wes?
And you mind if I elaborate off that for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I don't think they were a hindrance in the offense, really. I think they did what they were asked to do. I think they progressed. Look at Odom. He became a weapon. I think he's something to utilize moving forward. I think Xander, his name is
Fish out of water.
I mean, he blocked decent, That's
Zipper. What I'm saying. It depends on the scheme and what he needs to be used for.
What was he asked to do? Did he block? Yes.
Primarily block, yes.
That's what he was asked to do. Zipper has like that catch and nice catch and run against Tennessee. So, in receivers, Ricky played well. Caleb Douglas played well. Shorter played solid. So, I mean, yeah, I'm giving this C+.
Wes?
C-.
I can't argue with it. There was a lot. Now, I'm not going to keep going back and hindering on AR. It is what it is. Could their numbers have been higher? Yes. Could they have made some more catches than they made? Absolutely. I'm going to go right there just with a solid C. I will also mention that this group and the way they were recruited for a system that's different than Billy's. These are big, tall possession receivers in an offense that's, as you can see what Billy's recruiting, he's looking for faster guys, more guys like Ricky that can do things. Xavier Henderson, I don't know what to say about Xavier Henderson. The man caught more screen passes than anyone in the history of college football this year. I don't know what his numbers on the season were, but it seems like I feel like he had 40 catches for 100 yards. I mean, it was just, look, man, you have to have the guys that fit the scheme, and at the receiver position, I don't think we're quite where Billy wants to be. That from, these are Billy Gonzalez guys, not Billy Napier guys, but they did what they were asked to do. All right, guys, offensive line, Wes. I think you'll probably have some good things to say out of the offensive line outside of one guy.
Yeah, and he pulls the grade down to B plus because he's one of the keys of the offense. He caused other guys to get penalties when they shouldn't have got false starts, and then he got pushed back. Like he's the only guy on the offensive line that I saw regress. He started sticking out to me maybe about 5 or 6 weeks ago, and I called him out and never got better. So I because he's a part of that unit and he's a key call because he's the center and he calls out assignments and who's blocking who. So I give that unit a B plus.
Mike,
let's give it a B. Solid from the right tackle, especially moved over to my my one and only Barber. Torrance, All-American, speaks for itself. Kingsley's absolutely dog crap. Left guard. This is where Ethan White kind of brought down unit. I think he got a little bit better toward the end of the season. And then Garage. Actually, I'm gonna put that down. That's B minus because Garage is really up and down throughout the season.
very inconsistent.
I got to go B minus on this. And I think that's the reason why he's leaving, and not to the NFL, in my opinion.
I give him a solid B. The grade obviously is brought up by maybe one of the best offensive linemen to ever play here that only got one season. He's going to get a brick. Osiris Torrance. If he doesn't play the bowl game, which I highly suspect he won't, there's no reason for him to, will go down in his college career of never giving up a single sack. That's incredible. I don't care who you are. That's legendary status to me. I don't care what level you played at. To never get beat once is just unbelievable. I agree with Mike. I think Barber is a animal. I think that kid's, if he can keep down the some of the penalties maybe he might get for being overly aggressive, he's going to be fantastic next year. Ethan White definitely needs to come back, get one more year. I mean, I assume he will. I don't see him transferring. Ethan seems like a very loyal kid that's going to stick it out. And like Mike said, he got better as he got more comfortable in the system late in the season. Garage needs to move on. Kingsley needs to move somewhere. So, guys, before we move to defense, overall offensive grade. Mike?
B minus.
Remember, despite all these pains, we were still like the 11th ranked offense in the country.
A lot of points.
A lot of points, a lot of yards.
When I say B minus because there's a lot of points that we could have gotten.
A lot of left. Wes?
A rare agree with Mike, B minus.
I was thinking high. I was thinking C plus at first, but I talked myself into the B minus because, I mean, we scored enough points to win every single ball game outside of Kentucky. And that was just a complete debacle. And we all know it. We're not going to go back to that. But, man, I look forward to it as Billy gets his pieces in place for this offense to see what it really can do when it hums. Because this was an offense that when he was at Louisiana Lafayette that didn't put up tremendous amounts of points. So it's actually kind of crazy that they've done as well as quick as they did. I think that's very encouraging. All right, guys, we're going to move on to the defense, and this ought to be a real fun conversation all the way around. We're going to start off, you know what? I'm going to break this into two categories instead of one. Defensive ends. Mike?
Given the production from multiple players, I would give it a B plus.
B plus. Wow. Wes?
Yeah, they get a C from me.
That's where I'm at. I'm at a C too. Now, they brought that grade up because if you'd have asked me this, week 6, oh my God, D D minus. Cox out there whiffing on every play in the backfield. And look, we all know there's still a lot of plays to be made out of those defensive ends. I mean, they could have picked up several sacks. But I like what I saw out of Princely and Powell late. I know Mike's a big guy, Powell guy.
5'2", baby. But I also think they were hindered by the lack of inside presence.
And we're about to get to that.
So that's a direct I'm a DN at all. Sorry, that was my position.
A short one.
Pardon?
A short one.
Yeah, technique, baby, technique. I set the edge. Damn it!
You weren't swatting passes, but you were getting there.
I set the edge. But it ain't got angles.
All right, guys, let's move on to that defensive tackle, Wes.
I give that unit a B minus. With the emergence of Watson and what I saw from my guy.
Here it comes.
Chris McCullough. You know, I gotta give him a shout out. So and Dex came on late in the year. I know some people were thinking about he kind of started slow. Where is he at? I watched the game, and me and Michael had this discussion many times from your ladder Falcons hers, how they were triple teaming Jonathan Allen and doubling Deron Payne. He got a lot of that treatment with being the best D lineman on the field this year. He's not the type of guy over Aaron Donald, over Jonathan Allen to beat double teams. We saw that in that one-on-one. When he was one-on-one, I saw him win a lot of his fair share. So with him, I would like to have more guys behind those three. We saw Jalen Lee and some other guys come in, but when we got Watson, Dexter, and Chris McCullough, I give that unit a solid B. They were good up front, in my opinion.
Mike, I think you're going to probably go a lot lower than that.
So you're just saying Dexter's good, but he can't be double teams? That's what good players do.
Great players do that.
No, that's not true either. If you're a good player, you're gonna be a double team. Double team. If you're a 3 tech, you're gonna get double team a high percentage of the time. That's what happens on the inside. Dex or Desmond, he's getting double team every single play. Does he beat double team sometimes? Does McClellan beat double team sometimes? Is he a great player? No. That's why he was on the field all the time. No. Dexter had a down season. He played too many snaps and he was injured. In addition to that, he's just underwhelmed. I said off rip from the game 1, he was playing too many snaps. It was gonna, if he played at this same snap count, it's going to hinder his production. There's no way that a D tackle can play that many snaps unless you're some superhuman like Aaron Donald.
Period. 64 snaps week 1 for a 300-pound guy is a lot.
It's dumb at that size. But if he can't be one-on-one, you're just not good. Period. You're not good, and let alone a double team. So if you're just, you know what, if you can't beat a one-on-one, you're a jag. If you're a good player, potential all-SEC, potential first-round pick, you better damn well beat a double team. And you're talking Jalen Carter. Does he beat double, triple teams? Yeah. While injured. Happened against us. So I'm giving that – pardon?
I was going to say, I will say this, whether arguments aside, Gerv lost money this year.
Oh, absolutely. Because he proved his potential was through the roof, but he regressed whole season. But what did he do this year? He didn't do shit.
No. My question is to your point of the Jalen Carter is a top 5 pick. That's an elite beating double teams. What I'm saying is elite players beat double teams, not good players. Good players don't beat double teams.
Let me just counter this. Let me counter this from Mike's point of view. I know if Gerv wants to be a first-round pick, he better be beating double teams.
Apparently, I'm new to the game of football, and good players beat double teams.
That's my point, Hirsch.
That's what happens in the interior. Ask any defensive tackle. This is defensive play 101.
My thing was going into the season, a
You
lot
can
of
shake
people,
your head. I'm sorry, Hirsch. Continue.
going into the season, a lot of people said Gerv was a first-round pick going into this season.
He's not.
And now he's not. And now he's not. Nobody's saying Gerv's a first-round pick right now. So, to me, that is the definition of regression. Now, we can attribute it to, like Mike said, he played hurt. He played way too many snaps at the beginning of the season.
Which everybody does.
He played way too many snaps at the beginning of the season. And he wasn't getting a lot of help early on from his people around him either. And that's here nor there. I think that he came on late because Desmond came on late. I think as you saw Desmond become more of a factor, Gerv was opened up more.
Great point.
And that to me gives him a C+ on the year as defensive line. And hey, I was encouraged by what we saw late. I think we're going to lose a lot of bodies at that position. I can't say a lot because there ain't a lot of people there. But I think you'll see Lee hit the portal. I think you'll see Humphreys hit the portal. Because the writing's on the wall. They ain't starting over Dez next year, and they're not starting over McClellan as of today. So, and Gerv's, I don't know if Gerv's coming back or not. I can't answer that right now. I think he should. Unless he just, he's making good NIL money at Florida. I don't think he's going to make much more in the NFL right now. It is what it is. Let's move on to the next position.
I have the graded D+, by the way.
Oh, okay. He's degraded. Mike.
No, it's just I guess Wes doesn't know the percentage of times interior defensive line get double teamed.
Okay.
I like that.
Silly.
Difference between great and good.
You don't know either.
Neither do you.
Y'all are killing me. Breaking news, by the way, Dejon Reynolds has entered the portal.
Not surprised. He said some stuff before Napier got there last year.
Kid came on late, but, it is what it is. Going to be a lot more.
Exactly.
All right. We're moving on to linebackers. Mike, give us your linebacker grade.
B-, surprisingly.
I am surprised.
That's with Bernie playing out very nice.
I was going to say, I think the interior helped that a lot. Wes?
Yeah, B-. They're not very good in coverage, so that kind of brought the grade down. But I think both of them may have played their way onto some SEC lists with Ventrell and the tackles and Bernie with all the caused or forced or interceptions, phone recoveries, sacks. His combination of just numbers he put up will put him there. And Ventrell just had I know he led the league. Not the league, the team in tackles. So pretty sure that's up there in the SEC. So they might have played themselves to maybe a third team all SEC.
I'll go right there too. B-. Gonna miss Ventrell. Just that's what it is. He's a great Gator. Very underappreciated in his career. Very proud of Amari Burney and his growth. Mike called him the Antichrist week 1. And
still stand by it.
Huh?
Still stand by that statement.
Yeah, okay. Amari Burney came on and became a viable player on this defense, and I'm proud of him for that. Shamar James showed growth. Think we got a real, player in Shamar going forward. Wingo and Scooby, we hardly knew ye. I don't know what else to say. If they don't come back, they don't come back. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if we're losing. I don't think we are. Wingo had some flashes, but he's just so slow. I can't see him being an SEC linebacker. All right. This next one hurts. Talk about University of Florida cornerbacks. Wes, What's your corner grade? Looks like they're giving you a migraine.
Yeah, I was a former corner, so this kind of like hurts me, especially with us being Florida. You could have combined this with the safety group, like you did the D tackles and DNs. They get a. I know we had the one game with the 2 pick sixes, or not the 2 pick sixes, but the 2 picks from Jaden Hill. I know Kimber had a pick six, um, but they get a D from me.
Mike?
Same grade. I have a D because they single handedly, in my opinion, cost us the LSU game because they utterly refuse them, and it's been multiple people learn how to play the ball. You could argue that they cost us the FSU game as well. I don't want to argue, but Jason Marshall not being able to play the ball against Darnell Wilson had a huge contribution in that loss as well. So I mean, that's lack of progression there, and they are talented. Said Helm is a P5 starter. Jaden Hill is not good enough for Florida, but he was another P5 starter. They just played. They underwhelmed. They couldn't. They had no idea how to play zone coverage, and they just played like shit the whole season. So,
yeah, I'm in a D. Good God, I've never in my life been so frustrated by a Gators cornerback group. Oh my Lord. I played corner in high school, and I spent more time screaming at the television just for basic stuff. I mean, just getting your head around. Good Lord. I mean, and I know we missed more late in the season. I think he would have played a lot more. No pun intended. Kimber disappeared. I don't know what happened there. Helm, as we said, he's in the portal now for a reason. Jaden Hill battled back from multiple knee injuries. Big shout out to the kid. Played hard, but just wasn't up to the standard this year. He just not. That's not the Gator standard at corner. Period. We got to get better at that position exponentially next year, or we're going to be in trouble. And we're going to top off the defense talking about the safety position. Whew. Mike, you want to talk to us about the safeties? Sucking his teeth.
F plus.
F plus.
No, I take it back. No, I take it back because I've seen Jawan Taylor play football, and I'm still in. Yeah, I'll give it a D minus.
Wes?
Torrance plays some good ball.
Same grade. Early in the year, I know we stopped calling Dean's name, but then he got beat against Florida State. Midway through the year, well, I won't say midway, like the last 4 games, I think he kind of picked this game up, but then he did get beat against Florida State. But that's just one play. But the struggle early in the year where they were just nowhere, especially zero, was nowhere where he needed to be at. They get a D minus from me. I didn't see any impact plays. I didn't see any picks. I mean, I know Shamar had one against USC. Not Shamar, excuse me. Kamari had one against USC where he got a pick, but I didn't see any impact plays. I didn't see them in the box making enough tackles. I didn't see them standing out to be SEC all-caliber players, so they get the D minus.
What's the grade you get when you don't get a single question right, or you don't turn in your assignment? A 0? Oh, what's that guy's name? Never mind. 0. 0 is what you need to know about the safety group for the 2022 Florida Gators, and that's all I'm gonna say. If none of those guys outside of Kamari, and I know there's some of the younger guys and they showed out, but if most of those guys don't ever put on a Gators jersey again, I'm not going to be upset. I'm just not. Sorry. Guys, defense, total grade. Wes?
After all seeing all that and how disappointed we were in some of the groups, the only reason they get the C minus for me, which is close to a D, is because they led the SEC in turnovers. I don't know how they did it, but they led the SEC, the whole entire SEC. That's Georgia, that's Alabama, that's everybody.
He stat and I'm sorry, I'm glad you brought that up, and I wanted to put this out there earlier in the show. The Florida Gators, with the turnover that they got versus FSU, got a turnover in every single ball game this year.
So that being said, I can't give them a D when they led the entire conference in turnovers. That's the only reason the grade is where it was. It's still not up to our standard. Points allowed, inability to tackle, and inability to inability to cover. But the reason why they stayed in some games with us and making some plays is because, like Hirsch just said, turnover in every game, and then they led the SEC in turnovers. So that pulls them to that C-.
Mike?
I mean, it's a nice stat. But if you lead in turnovers and still like give up 50 points, it's kind of irrelevant. Those scoreless quarters were big for me, but I have to give it a D plus. Just because I saw regression.
Yeah, I'm at C-. Oof, no, I'm not. I'm at D+. I can't do it. I can't even lie.
Especially if you go across the groups. I mean,
I just can't even lie about it. Like, I want to be like, there's encouraging signs from young guys on the defense, guys that will play next year. Powell, Princely, Desmond Watson, Kamari, Shamar. Those kids will play next year.
I was there with y'all, but that is phenomenal.
Well, the turnover thing is phenomenal, but guess what? It almost made no difference.
I got you. Imagine what it would be without
it. I'm not gonna even really, because it's hit or miss to me. Like, well, where would we have been if we made tackles in every damn game and not gotten burned in the seam for 50-yard touchdown?
I'm with you.
All right. This will be fun. I didn't list this. I listed this. I listed this as special teams because these guys ain't game changers. And until they are, they're not earning. I'm going to act like Mike did about chaos with the damn special teams. Until they change a game, they're special teams.
Set your standard. I respect that.
These guys ain't game changers, but we'll talk about them anyway. Kickers. Wes, you okay with how do you feel about the kicker position this year?
F. You can't hit extra points. Then you got one job. You got one freaking job. Extra points. You can't hit an extra point. You can't hit a 20-yarder. If you're not hitting 80%, you're not doing your job. It's not 80%, and you're missing extra points. F.
Mike.
80%.
What the hell's Austin Harden? What was he?
It doesn't matter. We're not great. We're not great.
No, I got a question. He says a direct comparison. So you're saying this character, our kicking game this season is the same as Austin Harden?
Yes.
Yes? Jesus Christ. That's fine.
Didn't Harden?
All right, no, that's fine. I heard
Harden hit a game winner.
Yeah, cool. Vanderbilt. I know you're talking about. Nice try.
Yeah.
Another flawed stat. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna go C plus. Our kickoffs are out of bounds way too often, and we are pretty consistent with inside 40 yards. That's why I'm gonna give it that. And yeah, the walk on, like I said, he's for the most part steady Eddie, inside 40 yards, and I can live with that. College kicker, he shouldn't be relied upon heavily outside of 40. I don't know if they shouldn't, but I'm not pissed.
C- for me.
Yeah.
I'm not even going into detail because, my God, we got a 5-star on the bench that can't earn the position. The walk-on has to take it. I'm not thrilled with this whole group. This is going to be a punter. Wes, you like the Australian punter or no? Yes.
Yeah, he can say A for me. I love the punter. He did his job. He was the only special teamer that did his job other than we get to the returners in Trevor Etienne. So shout out to Crossshot. He did his job. The only one from the special team that did his job. Only one that gets an A.
Mike?
Give it a B. He was solid. I'm not saying he coffin corners or punts in at the one. That old San Diego. Well, let's just say I don't want to mention him. It's not the best timing.
We're really overanalyzing the punters.
Not at all. I mean, if you drop him ones within inside the 5, yeah, I'll give you an A. But he's not. So I'm giving him a solid B. He was a solid punter.
Maybe his leg got tired. All those third quarter
He's not.
punts.
Is he end of the day? Does he have a chance to get drafted? Absolutely not. You're not getting an A.
I give him a B plus. Like I said, I think his leg got tired in the third quarter of most games because of all the punts we had to do in the third quarter. Oh God, I just look at this and I start to cringe. Return game. Wes.
Punt return was absolutely awful. I wish we had Ricky back there the entire time. Early in the season, when we did try to bring it out, we got holding penalties. I mean, it was always something going on with that. Except when we finally made the move. I don't know if they removed guys that were on the return team as far as blockers, but when Trevor got in there, he did some solid things, brought that unit up to a D minus because they lost us one game with the Jason Marshall fair catch inside the 5. I think Hendo had a fumble. I mean, they looked horrible. They looked the opposite of South Carolina. So if South Carolina has an A, then we were down there at F. But Trevor kind of brought that up because he had some key returns. Even against Florida State, I believe he had one too when they got the score. So I give there a D. Solid D.
I'll keep it short. It's D. Didn't do anything for me. Callie can go incomplete, but like I said, it's just a bunch of bums out there.
Yeah. Once again, man, I don't like being down on the kid, but Xavier Henderson is not a return man.
Is he a receiver?
I don't know. He's never down the field. He's real good catching them down the line when the quarterback doesn't throw it into the dirt.
It's a big F.
Subtle dig. No, I guess at the end of the day, I guess it was just the guy you were comfortable with at the beginning of the season was Xavier catching the ball. But we didn't even talk about the one thing in the beginning of the season that made the units the worst, and that was the penalties.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a part of the season, and Mike got to that point where he was just like, just fair catch it every time. Just wave.
And I was actually going to say that sometimes when you don't have a game changer to, get you, say, 10 plus yards, or you're continuously having penalties like that, it's just best just to fair catch it. Safe, nothing bad's going to happen. No banning.
Yeah.
Well, check my battery.
I'm gonna go D plus because I'm gonna go with the same reason Wes said, that the emergence of Trevor returning kicks definitely saved that group from going all the way to F. Oh my Lord. Special team defense, Wes. This considers block kicks, block punts, kickoffs, everything.
We didn't do any of that. So being that our kicker missed the extra point, he missed some inside the 20 and the 30. I think he was under 70%, which is key. And then he kicked the ball out of bounds. The fumbles on punt and kick return, penalties. The game changers get a D for me.
Mike?
You said overall?
Yeah. Overall special teams defense.
D plus because of kicking. Thought we had a decent kicking game.
Yeah, we didn't give up any real long returns. I think we gave up one all season that was even moderately, and credit that to our kickoff man. More than often than not, ball's out of the end zone. But I'm right there. I mean, until we at the University of Florida block a field goal, block an extra point, block a punt, something that reminds me of the Urban days. Nah, D plus. Guys, special teams as a whole, I mean, I think we're all pretty much in agreement that they suck. Mike?
If I go as a whole, I'll go D minus. And real quick, she said Urban, the Beamers of the world. That's a mindset and like time dedicated. So don't look forward to get that much better next year. You may get a little bit better if you have better players. Obviously, you got to.
It's one of those things you got to reevaluate.
Yeah. So I mean, if Mike
Go ahead.
Mullen, he never took it seriously. So you got his poor results. Now you're gonna add more athletic players, but you still dedicate the same amount of time, hire the same type of same resume individual. All right, you get a little bit better production. Obviously, you have more talent. However, I don't foresee like wholesale changes.
No, you got a guy named Couch running your special teams.
Ever.
I don't. Going back to the Mullen thing, I don't know. Maybe because he had good guys. I mean, you had Townsend running fake punts and stuff, and you had one of the best punters who's currently punting for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then you had Eric McPherson, who was one of the best kickers in the NFL. And then you had your starting receivers as the gunners. I mean, we saw Van Jefferson and Cleveland and those guys and Grimes. You put your starters, you put your best guys out there. So Mullen did do that. I don't think we participated in as far as punt blocks and doing anything. But as far as kickers, we had McPherson and we had Townsend, one of the best punters in the country as well. So our special teams were good under Mullen. We didn't score as far as returning punts and stuff like that, but we had solid guys like Swain, return fair, like somebody who's gonna catch the ball. And that's how Mullen wanted to run it. So I think that's how that was. And I would rather have that than what we had this year. I mean, this year was a mess. I mean, if your kicker can't get to 70%, it's a problem. He was 68% kicking field goals. That's a problem.
Yeah, I can't quit talking about this crap quick enough. This whole group just frustrated the hell out of me. F, special teams at UF, F. Change it. I want to believe in the game changer title, but I don't. So
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, guys, coaching, and we're going to only talk about the two that matter. They all matter, but ultimately these are the decision makers. So first, Patrick Toney. Mike, what's your grade on Patrick Toney for the season?
I think he was severely handicapped, and a lot of people don't realize this. And I think if you encapsulation of how much was the FSU game. I mean, you can only scheme up so well until like you can't tackle people himself. So with that being said, especially he's not running his desired scheme, I give him a C plus.
I respect it. Wes?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Mike on that one. If you put guys in position and you see it and they just don't do it, there's nothing you can do about that. When a lot of times we saw guys just leaving their area and all the missed tackles, can't put that on him when guys are in position to make the play.
Yeah, I like the progression that we saw, given the same pieces were still, I mean, like, you didn't see wholesale changes. Pretty much the same 11 guys marched out there week in and week out, but they did get better, whether anyone wants to admit that or not. But it goes back to the same thing we said all season. Wrong puzzle pieces for the puzzle. I mean, it's just only time fixes that. You can coach it to a certain amount. I think you did see that with a lot of players that, we talked about Amari Burney. We talked about Desmond Watson. We talked about Princely. We talked about Powell. A lot of these kids showed a lot of progression. I think we have some solid pieces going in next year. I think we're going to have to hit the portal for some other ones. And some people are got to make some business decisions on whether or not they want to buy into the system. And if they don't, they might need to go find a new home. All right. Now the big guy. Captain of the squad, Billy Napier. Wes, what's your grade for Billy Napier after season 1?
You kind of put him in the same category as we just talked about Toney, and give him the same grade. based off we know he doesn't have his guy at quarterback. We know we've chronicled AR's struggle, but what he did in the run game was phenomenal. But then he had some play calling things. So I guess I don't know. Do we separate the head coach from the OC? Or do we combine those together? Because there's some things he left out there to be desired, like we talked about Florida State. As far as
let's just talk about him as the offensive coordinator, because the head coach encompasses more than just games.
Okay, so as the offensive coordinator, he did. I mean, we just talked about it. We're top 10 offense, scored a bunch of points. There's some things he may need to tweak, and I always talked about his ability to evolve, his thing on numbers and data, and his willing to not be stubborn. I know a lot of people think he's stubborn, he's stuck in his ways. I'm big, and hopefully I'm right on him and his ability to evolve and take information and not be stuck in his ways. So I'm going to give him a C for this year, and hopefully we can see some improvement in the future.
Mike?
Somewhat piggyback off what Wes said. I mean, yeah, the top 10 in scoring, but like honestly, I don't give a shit about points. I give a shit about wins. And like a lot of his play calling was a direct result in us losing. It's a fact. At least 2 wins, or at least 2 games. Kentucky and FSU was a direct result of his play calling. I would give him a B minus, just because for the most part, we did actually. Yeah,
it's hard.
I'd give him a B minus, but what's really killing me is the Vanderbilt game where the game plan just run the ball. Joe Schmo could just run the ball. You're going to beat these guys, especially on the road. It's an away game. Playing at 11 o'clock. Don't make it more difficult than it is. Especially you have the game plan in third quarter FSU. Run the ball. It's not that hard. Kentucky, why the hell are you running the ball? Why aren't you running the ball? You're letting your own quarterback beat you. You lost to AR. So, I mean, he's really on that fringe of a B minus C because he beat himself is what but he showed production, which I did like. I saw progression with the players, the Caleb Douglases, the Odoms of the world, even the Ethan Whites. I mean, Kingsley's horrible, so he's never going to progress. But I mean, look at Barber. So you got to have to look at the individual progression as well. That's a sign of a Billy and his gang. So I'll give it I'll just B minus, even though I'm really fringe on that C.
I'm right there with Mike. I'm at a B minus, and the reason why is I see what the offense is capable of. I know a lot of people think that he needs to get an offensive coordinator. I don't think he necessarily needs an offensive coordinator. I think he just needs to stick with what's working. And I mean, maybe that's a look in the mirror after this season and go, I really overthought things at times, and use it as an example going forward. Look, I could have won these games playing it a lot more simpler I just overthought it. But once again, golly, I hate keep having to harp back to this, but how many points and wins were left on the field by inconsistent quarterback play too? We don't know. We can't answer that.
Can't count that high.
I do know that arguably the 2 best offensive players outside of, obviously Etienne's in there, were developed by Billy Napier. Osiris Torrance, Montrell Johnson, both scouted, identified, and developed by Billy Napier and his staff. Both were tremendous successes this season. Can't argue it. So that's more hope for the future on what we can expect to be developed in this offense to me. We need to see more consistency out of our, receivers. We need to see more consistency out of our blocking scheme across the line. But as overall, I was not disappointed in the offense. We played well enough pretty much every game to win, except, like we said, the Kentucky game, where that was just a debacle, and the FSU game, we come out of the half doing something completely different. So, guys, I got a question I want to ask all of us as we come to a close on our report card for the season. And I'll start with you, Wes. Wes, Do you consider this season a success, a failure, or is it just a wash?
I consider it a success when you go to a bowl game and you get those extra practices. That's what we kind of were aiming at. Where not me, I expected my expectations, me being real, were higher than what they were, but that's because I set these high expectations on AR.
You're the hype man. That's what you do.
He let me down in a lot of games, but as Mike alluded to, so did Billy Napier. Sometimes as a head coach, OC, you have to rein the team in yourself. So it's not a wash because I feel like who I think our coach is, he's going to learn from this, and I think we'll be better for having a 6-6 year and actually not being fooled like how we were by Mullen and Illusion. We were 10-2, 11-3. We were doing those things, and that was to me fool's gold because it masked over the problems. I like to have the problems early, and then you're able to fix them.
Mike?
I think the season's a resounding success. AR is AR. I'm not going to comment on him. He is what he is. But end of the day, you got a young team. You have a team that, wasn't it was clear after week 2. You could tell who they were. They were not going to win a national championship. So that being said, you need to start looking to the future, especially with the young team. So we got the 15 practices for the young bucks. We showed that not only his transfers play well in the SEC, but his recruiting class recycle. Caleb Douglas, like I said, who else? Miguel Mitchell, and those 3 stars. Those are pure evals from him. He showed just progression overall as a team. His hires. Look at Tony. Tony, like I said, he showed he can get the job done. Help Bernie look good under him. I mean, I didn't think that was possible. So just a team as a whole. But I think the biggest thing that he showed for progress, and you've seen it at other jobs, the team never gave up, ever. No matter the score, no matter the location, never gave up. Even if they're inferior on talent, they're fighters, and that says a lot. That shows that nearly everybody bought in. And if you can do that in year 1 with guys who are not yours and guys who may be looking to the league and some guy, your quarterback who may or may not be checked out, that's the hardest. I don't give a shit about wins. I'll sacrifice Vanderbilt loss or whatever for that to occur in my season. So the fact that I got bowl wins or bowl practices, development and passion and buy-in.
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head of what I was going to say right there. Outside of Georgia, who we were in it with in the third quarter, I mean, it was closer than it could have been.
Some bad calls to make. Should have made a lot closer.
We could have beat any team we played this year. I mean, we were in it to the last snap of every single game, pretty much. And that's with kids that you knew especially later in the season, knew they were going to leave. But they played hard. So they're bought in, man. I'm very encouraged with that. I'm very encouraged with the running backs and that the running game as a whole was absolutely phenomenal. I'm encouraged at the way the defense played, especially late here in the season, despite knowing what we were and who we had. I just want to see us go out there, sign up a really solid top 10, hopefully top 7 recruiting class, and then get, I'm going to say it out loud, 10 to 12 transfers that can play snaps next year. And some of these guys, and when I say play snaps, I don't mean every one of them has to be a starter, but contributors. Some defensive line depth, linebacker depth, guys, safeties that can compete for the starting position. You know, a quarterback, because guess what? We need one. And we'll talk more about that next week when the portal opens. That'll be topic A that we talk about is who's playing quarterback for the University of Florida next year. Because I don't think it's going to be Jaden Rashada. And given the events of today, we know it ain't going to be Jalen Kitna. So, and I know nobody on this podcast is standing for Jack Miller. So,
Arizona.
There's that's the biggest question mark right now to me is you know, as you go forward into year 2, you got to find a quarterback. So we'll discuss that next week when we talk about the portal and what the targets look like as the portal opens on December 5th. But that's pretty much going to close the book, you know, for all intents and purposes on the 2022 season. It's been fun covering it. We've had a lot of fun talking about it and disagreeing about it. And, you know, a lot of frustrations, but, you know, we knew that was going to happen. Hopefully next year we got a lot more exciting stuff to talk about. But that being said, guys, as you know, this podcast, as we've told you the last few weeks, is a pod of the people. And on the pod of the people, we like to take some questions from our from the guys that follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And Wes has got a few questions that we're going to answer to wrap this portion of the show up. Wes, what do you got for us to answer?
Yeah, the first question is from Jay Stubbins. He says, "Do you think we go after the Texas quarterback transfer Hudson Card, or any other big names, even though we have Rashada coming in?"
Kind of just spoke about that. I do. And I don't think it's Card. I don't think Card's going to be, I think he'll be down the list of guys that we look after, but I'm not going to, like I said, we'll talk about that more next week, but I'll let Mike hit on it a little bit.
So him in particular or just a transfer?
I think he used him as an example.
Yeah, because he said he liked him when he saw him play against Alabama, so he kind of mentioned him too.
So I'm not taking anyone with more than 1 year of eligibility, or that plans on. Better yet, I will not take anyone who plans on being in college football for longer than 1 year. I want to transfer Rashada. I do not want. I don't believe he's ready. I think it'll be better for him and his development and our program if he sits and learns. I think, you know, given our talent and the coaching, the talent coming in, and including the transfers, recruiting, and the coaching, we have a chance for the East next year. So I'm taking a 1 year stopgap.
Yeah, you want to find that. I think we're looking. I think the University of Florida's goal today is to find a quarterback that is looking to jump himself into the first round of the draft next year and really show out next year.
Agreed. I'm not going to add anything to what you guys
said. I don't know who that quarterback is. Is it Sam Hartman from Wake Forest? He's been rumored. I've heard UF might not clear him medically because of his health issues.
Well, there's no way in God's green earth Sam Hartman is going first round.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you kind of answered one of the questions. Some guy was asking about Sam Hartman. So that was Dennis. Dennis, I'm not going to answer your question because he kind of answered it about Sam Hartman. We have heard rumors that Florida might not. He has a medical issue that it took him a while to get back on the field for Wake Forest. So we don't think that.
And we know UF is kind of funny about these things. Look at the Keontae situation.
Yeah. This is from Nof Savelli. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. This question is: do you think we go after Sam McCall from Florida State and Leary from Alabama, the DB from Florida State that we were linked to? I think he was committed to us before he decommitted a couple years ago. And Leary, we were in the running for as well from Bama. Do you think we gotta go after those guys?
I'm going to start this and let Mike finish it because I know me and Mike are kind of on the same page about this. There's no way Sam McCall plays at the University of Florida.
Agreed.
Word is that kid is kind of a locker room cancer, and I don't like to speak ill will about young men playing this game, but all I know is he wasn't a fit over there, caused some disruption, said he was transferring earlier, backed out of it, and now he's transferring again. No, he ain't coming to Florida. Mike.
I mean, he wasn't a take last cycle, so I mean, I'm sorry. Call
as
space
far as
spade.
Leary goes, I liked Leary coming out of high school, but if you can't cut it at Bama with that wide receiver room they had this year,
I like to go by fan reactions. He obviously didn't get a lot of burn. He doesn't have the best size. However, a lot of folks are not pleased to see him leave. So going by that,
I know we were in it when he came out of high school. So
that's a whole
that's
different
a whole different staff.
Whole
I
different
know.
staff.
That like the different size and kind of receiver. So you have to kind of play that.
If Purcell goes, yeah, I
Purcell's staying. I know.
Yeah,
that
I'm just.
I know I got you.
For the sake of argument, right now I don't want him because I think we can do better. Right now we need production. If I don't want an unproven guy, I'll just worry about my recruits. To me, just because he went to Bama, I would get two shits. A lot of receivers went to Bama and they suck. All right, so I mean, I'd rather have that kid out of Charlotte.
Grant DeBose is going to be the guy. I was going to say 6'3" burner.
There are plenty of guys. Grant
DeBose is a legitimate prospect.
Yeah, so there's plenty of guys that are proven and are a better scheme fit.
Yep.
So I mean, just because you got that A on your helmet, hey, I don't get two shits.
Hey, Wes, hit us with
right.
one more.
All right, this is from Justin Wood. I got to get him in. He is a frequent question asker, I should say, every week. So
he's a person of the pod.
Yeah, he's a person of the pod. So shout out to you, Justin. We kind of didn't answer this, so I'll ask this question. He said the most realistic targets in the portal at quarterback, linebacker, and D line.
I'm just going to go ahead and hit this right now. We don't know. We don't know because until December 5th. Look, guys, for those that don't know, the portal is going to be a crazy place this year. You're seeing a bunch of names hit now, and it's going to just multiply in the next week as kids decide, look, I want to better my position in an offense for so I can get ready for the draft, or I want to better my NIL position.
That's already occurred at Missouri.
Yes. Well, and it's like Mike just brought up. The kid Mike just brought up Grant DeBose. The kid playing at Charlotte. Look, it isn't going to be a secret. Charlotte doesn't have an NIL that can compete with Power 5 programs. So that's going to be a bidding war for kids like that. And kids know that. Kids that have had production at these smaller schools and know, hey, look, I can come to it's free agency. It's all it is.
I love it.
And it's a matter of, hey, kid selling himself. Look, I can come to your school and be a difference maker next year. What are you going to pay?
Before we go, I'm going to give you these two just quick answers on these two. We got one late. And this is a recruiting question, so we're recruiting the podcast, so I want you to answer.
Yeah, hit us up with it.
Bobby Miller wants to know, and this can be simple, any update on Keon Zipper would be appreciated.
Not Zipper. He was going to play last game.
Zipper that extra ER.
He didn't say. So I was going to say Keely. I said Zipper, but I meant Keely. So answer
Keon Keely?
Okay, if it was Keon Keely, he was at the Iron Bowl this weekend. I guarantee you, I'm almost certain he's going to Alabama.
Okay.
Keon Zipper thought he was going to play versus Florida State, and he didn't.
This last one from Jared White. I'm going to get his in there because this is another recruiting question. He wants to know about, is there anything we're hearing about Roussard and Smith? Do we still have a chance?
I think there's no chance on Smith, but I think we're squarely in it for Roussard. Have to see what Hugh Freeze going to Auburn does for that recruitment.
Did not like that hire for that particular reason.
I know those kids have been interested in Auburn for even when they didn't have a coach. So that makes you leery of the fact that they're looking for a reason to like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've heard over and over again that Roussard is very interested, and we offer him things that he's not getting at other schools as far as positional play. if we don't get him back on campus for a visit before signing day, I don't see it happening.
All right, that's it.
All right, guys, pot of the people. We love it. Keep the questions coming. Yes. We will put that up again next week, guys. Be sure we'll put it up a little earlier, so guys have time to get multiple questions in, because as you know, we don't have games to talk about next week. So the more content, the better. If y'all can bring us content to fill the show, we're here for it, man. So yeah, we got to get down to business.
Please do. Please do.
As we crawl to the finish line of the 2022 Respect Our Decision Pick 'em. Oh my God. Just last week, Wes was so close. He had pulled even with Mike. And then it happened, rivalry weekend. And Wes went a resounding 2-8. Holy hell. And me and Mike went 5-5, which isn't outstanding. But hey.
Hey, it's like a Honda Accord. Nothing wrong with the car.
You get good gas mileage, good resale
durable,
value.
Great resale value. Phenomenal.
So that takes the totals on the season. Hirsch, 83-43. A cool 40 games even over 500. Mike, 78-48. And Wes is down there at 75-51. Pretty much battling for the number one pick.
It's respectable.
Losing mentality.
And guys, I want to announce before we get to this week, the last week of picks here we're going to do for the season. We will be doing a bowl pick 'em through ESPN for the bowl season. We will send the links out after the bowl games are announced and the pick 'ems are put up on ESPN. And we will be doing that for a prize for the first place winner. We will announce the prize later. It'll probably be something like a hat or something, a Gators hat, something of that nature. But we want y'all to get in on the action that we've had fun doing all year with these picks and see who really knows ball. And that's what it's all about. We got a nice little graphic made up with a patch on it that says "Who knows ball."
I'm about to say, was that a nice little hashtag there?
Yeah, who knows ball? That's going to be there, and that's how you'll know if that's the pick 'em entry when you see the hashtag "Who knows ball." It's not the guy that went 2-8. No, just kidding. All right, guys. Championship week. USC versus Utah versus USC. These are no ats since they're all neutral site games. Mike, go ahead.
Go Utah.
My God.
Listen. Utes, baby. Them boys show up.
Going for broke, man. Gotta go with USC.
Yeah, Utah beat him the first game by a damn nose hair. There ain't no damn way that I don't see him beating them second. USC sees the playoffs, man.
And I think that's the problem.
Well, we shall find out. All right, the team of destiny. Kansas State versus TCU.
Let me go last, man. I got to catch y'all. I got to see what y'all pick, and I got to pick the opposite.
No. You don't get that kind of home.
No. Hirsch, can I ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
With that statement, can you make him go first on every single one?
I mean, he's got to go first on this one anyway because he's there. He got the losing record. I was about to say
TCU. I'll go first. I ain't scared of y'all.
How's the man that gets the losing record get first? I mean, you ain't got the first pick.
That's Mike, the way it goes.
You got in the lottery.
Is Martinez playing this game?
I don't know.
Yep.
Guys, thanks. This show was brought to you by
Martinez. I'm just saying, all right, so I'm sorry. Martinez is a game. I'm going to go with the Horned Frogs.
Mike had his chance to say it, and he didn't. Horn Dogs, baby. Pick 'em. TCU. Woo. Golly, TCU's been on this every week, I think, since we started.
Amen.
Man, this game right here. LSU versus UGA in Atlanta. Mike.
Have you seen George's recent record versus LSU?
I have. I was hoping you'd bring that up.
Let's just say Georgia fans haven't been talking a lot of smack because there's nothing to say.
What's Kirby's record versus LSU again, Mike? I believe it's got a 0 in it, but it ain't on the right side.
All right, I'm going LSU once again. Brian Kelly is it's not quite the playoff. That's where he does falter, but he'll do well in this game.
All right, Wes. I know where you're going. You ain't picking no Brian Kelly.
I hate Georgia. I don't want to pick him, but for this sake, I hope I'm wrong. I'm gonna go with I hope LSU wins, but I'm gonna go with Georgia.
Yeah, I'm going with UGA all the way on this. Golly. All right. UCF versus Tulane. Wes?
Gus, going with Gus.
Okay. Mike? Do you have faith in Gus?
I have as much faith in Gus as Nate Craig Myers does in Gus.
Ooh, that's a drop. That's a reference.
You like that?
Ooh. Should have come to Florida.
He does ruin skill players' careers. Tulane.
Mike's messing with my outline.
Now I can make LSU. Now LSU can win just because you picked Tulane.
Yeah, I'm going with Tulane as well, man. I think they beat UCF beat them earlier.
I'm a bit worried about that coach leaving.
All right. Good Lord, what am I doing here? All right. Purdue versus Michigan. Mike.
I gotta go khaki pants.
You stealing my phrase, my coin towards khaki pants.
Khaki pants.
You can give me that too, Hirsch. I'm going khaki pants too.
Khaki pants. Yeah, Michigan's they're rolling right now, man. I thought losing their running back was going to cost them, but golly, I mean, what a surprise at how they showed up last week. All right, guys.
I got a quick question for you, Hirsch.
Yes.
Good old Clemson. Who do you have them? They got UNC.
Yeah.
Who you got?
I get to make the first pick of the last
game. You've been doing this for so long. You know, I want to return the favor. You like Dabo, or you like little Mac, the Mac truck?
North Carolina's lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, I love to pick the future Florida quarterback. Mayday. Little subliminal thought process there, as I'll try to wish it into existence. But oh God, I don't know, man. I feel pretty. Give me Clemson. Give me Clemson. UNC's looked too shaky the last 2 weeks. I can't go with them.
I don't think Clemson can score them. I really can't. Their defense
I don't know if UNC can score on them.
You kidding me now?
Georgia Tech shut North Carolina down.
Give me the Mac truck.
Okay. Wes, close it out.
Tigers.
Go Tiger.
Tigers. Go Tigers.
All right, guys. We will, of course, go over these results next week, but that pretty much does it for the 2022 Respect Our Decision Pick'em. It's been fun. It's been fun, man. I mean, the bowl season, that's going to be the bowl pick'em. That's going to be a completely different thing. We won't do those pretty much online. I mean, we may talk about a few of them on the
Final
show,
Four.
obviously.
Probably Final Four.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But it's been fun, man. It's been fun being right, being wrong. We've had some moments. Mike picking Appalachian State to
16.5-point underdog
to beat. When I picked Tennessee to beat Bama, I felt pretty good about it.
That was a good one.
Wes made some picks this year too.
Yeah, I had a great week last week. Y'all struggled last week, and I had.
I mean, listen, Hirsch and I, we had some highlights. You had
Wes,
some lights. Wes had lights.
Wes had the Arkansas, the lights of Arkansas.
He had some lights. I don't think they were LED or anything. He had some lights.
It's been a rough year for Wes. He rode some horses to the very end, and they died on him.
Sam Pittman and Gundy.
Yeah. You rode some bad dogs on the track. I know that. Whew. All right, guys. It's been fun. Been good. Time to bring it to a close. Anything you guys want to add before we get out of here?
No, just thank you guys for your support. We appreciate you. Like Hirsch is going to wrap it up. Also hit that notification bell too. So anytime we drop on YouTube, you'll be alerted that we are our podcast is dropped. So if you follow us on YouTube, just hit the notification bell as well.
He got two things. This is known. Baby's got us.
Hopefully
but
for not much longer. What? Never mind.
Well, we said it out loud.
Subliminal hits.
Ew. No, but I think it's safe to say we're in good hands. And we've already spoken on it earlier, but it feels good. That you can actually see legitimate future with young kids as well, not just short-term fixes. We got a nice recruiting cycle now. But guess what? The 2024 West's recruiting cycle is even better. And you potentially even have a QB1 in tow for that. And we're getting QB1s, like the ones we want. Not like, all right, 1B. Like, no, we want a guy, we got him, done. So it says a lot about the program where it's headed.
It's nice to be in some elite recruiting battles. It's nice to see us targeting guys specifically, especially in the state of Florida, but then going and getting your quarterback from California, from Texas. I know Mike's echoed it many times. That's a train of thought that you got to have if you want to be a successful head coach. I mean, you've watched Saban do it. Obviously Alabama recruits nationally. But if you look at it, I mean, the majority of their great prospects, in Georgia's too, come from the Southeast.
Texas and East.
Yeah. I mean, it's a blueprint and we're following it. Just got to have patience with it, man. I know it's not easy. It's not easy for us. We get up here. Some weeks we don't want to do this daggum show, like the raw reaction shows. It's hard to get up for that show after losing to Vanderbilt. I mean, what do you talk about? What do you sit here and you're just,
I mean, how many times did you decline my PTO?
Yeah, a bunch. Mike went in the trenches and saw more losses than wins.
Jeez, I thought I was a jinx.
So did everyone else. But guys, we really, really appreciate it. We appreciate y'all.
I'm still owed gas money, but anyway.
We appreciate y'all hanging with us through the season. Obviously, we're not going nowhere, guys. We're going to be covering recruiting and portal nonstop each and every week. It's just going to be one show a week right now. Unless we have some killer interviews, we might bring y'all a special broadcast here and there. We definitely got some things lined up for the future. Some guys we're going to get on here. We might have us a guest next week. That's our goal, so we can talk about the season a little bit more from someone else's point of view besides us three biased individuals. But we appreciate it, guys. But as always, we thank you for all the downloads on the episodes, and we encourage you, if you don't, to go out and download wherever you get your podcast from. As always, guys, check out our YouTube channel. It just continues to grow and grow, but we appreciate your support on that and would appreciate it if you don't currently subscribing to the channel And like Wes said, hit the notification bell, hit the like on the videos, and drop us comments. I love some of the comments we get. They're hilarious. And as always, guys, if you would like to support us in any way, shape, or form as creators, check out our Patreon, respect our decision. We put everything we got back into just trying to get the show better and better because, as we've stated many times, Mike, if you're not getting better,
you're getting worse.
That is correct. Take us home, Wes.
Yeah, appreciate it, Hurst. Again, this is a show that salute. That support our troops. So to our troops out there, thank you guys for your service. If you're a veteran or you know someone that's a veteran that's having issues or has questions about disability benefits, please hit us up and we'll get those questions answered for you. Thank you guys again for following us this season. And like Hurst said, we're going to continue with some more great content and we have some good interviews coming up and some giveaways as well. So thank you guys for following us and supporting us. We love you guys and we appreciate you guys. Go Gators.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.